Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alan with another broadcast of the Morlog Morning Digest. And as always, I ask that you guys please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, but most importantly, I ask that you guys share the content to help the channel grow. And we are growing. I just recently set up a Patreon, and as you can see, our first and newest patron is Trish. We also have our top contributor, Anita, and none of this would be possible without you. I don't know how to put into words how much I have to thank you for that, and I appreciate it immensely. And today's video is actually going to be on a topic that Anita put me onto, and it's something that I actually had to take into account and look at through a fresh lens. Now, a theme that we've been on with this channel is looking at history and talking about how it delineates from what we've actually been taught, okay? And we also look forward to what's going to be happening as far as future events. But all of that got pulled into question. With recent events that we have going on right now, Anita made a great point. Why are we bother focusing on Agenda 2030 and wasting our energy on trying to figure out what they have planned in the future, right? When in fact, we should be concentrating on what's going on right in front of us at this very moment. Because if we invest energy into future plans, that's exactly where they want us. Because at the end of the day, if we spend our time and energy focusing on that, we can't fight with the full resources in the moment right now. And I think that this is part of their agenda, okay? Now, we can see this happening in the media over and over again. You're looking at world leaders all over the place. Justin Trudeau, the head of the WHO, a whole bunch of people like Bill Gates, parliamentary figures over in the EU, all using common terminology like a reset. They keep referring to what we're going through right now as a chance to reset civilization. Sounds an awful lot like what happened back when Tesla technology was wiped off the face of this plane. It was a great reset then, and we are on the cusp of a great reset now, and they are not even trying to hide it. And instead of people concentrating on the here and now, everybody is more concerned about what's coming down the pipeline. But here's some news for you. If you're a freedom lover and you would rather stand on your feet than serve on your knees, unless you fight now, there is no point in concentrating on the future because your ass isn't going to be there. And that's simple fact. We see Pfizer and a bunch of other pharmaceutical companies right now pushing this new vaccine, and they are pushing it hard. They're trying to say that it has a 90% efficacy, which means that it works 90% of the time in producing an immune response that is safe, according to their studies. Now, if you draw this with statistical comparisons to any other vaccine that has ever been released, the efficacy of this vaccine is extremely high statistically. Alright? And that right there raises a lot of red flags to me. Now, we also have to look at the fact that the company who's pushing out the most common form and the easiest to produce of this vaccine is doing it for no profit. And in fact, they are sharing, right, the recipe with a bunch of other pharmaceutical companies all over the world, right? And they are talking about producing 3 billion doses of this vaccine in the first year of production. Now, if you think for a moment that you are going to be able to enter civilized society and go back to work after this vaccine rolls out without taking it, you are out of your mind. And this is what I mean by we are not going to be around to fight the fight in 2030 if we don't concentrate on what's going on right in front of us and find a way to knock this off the rails. And sadly to say, we had our opportunity and we fucking missed it. We see this country starting to lock down all over again. California already started, and people descended on the Californian capital en masse this week because of lockdown orders. People are starting to wake up to the fact that we are nothing more than slaves, and this lockdown has done nothing more than prove it. But the simple fact of the matter is, I don't think that there's enough people who are actually willing to put their neck on the line. Now, here's an interesting fact. Everybody's a patriot once the war's been won. It's very interesting because when the United States fought for their independence, for example, at the beginning of that war, there was probably only 1 to 2% of the population that was truly willing to die for their cause. All right? But at the end of the revolution, everybody was a patriot. And it's easy to be a patriot when your neck isn't on the line. And that's exactly what we see happening now, right? You may descend on a capital en masse, but are you willing to isolate yourself completely from society and be forced into a situation where you have to live off-grid because you're not willing to take a vaccine? And at the end of the day, right, it'll probably end up where you're not going to be able to even live without taking this vaccine. And that's a fact that I want you guys to get through your head very, very quickly. Your freedoms are being taken from you. You were never free to begin with. You have always been a slave. You've just been given the disillusion that you have any sort of free will or freedom inside of this system in which we operate, okay? Now, I plan on having an interview with somebody who can break this down. His name is Christopher. And I was actually just given a link from one of our subscribers. And if you can, I would appreciate his contact information so I can get a hold of him. But this man does a very good job in breaking down how even though all of our governments and parliamentary systems may seem independent, they are all based on the same system and in turn all end up running through the same bureaucracy, right? And here's what's interesting. The true leaders of this world aren't visible to us, all right? If you think Bill Gates and the Rothschilds and those guys are actually the guys pulling the strings, Soros and all of them, no. A true architect of great power structures normally doesn't put himself out there in view as the most powerful person around, all right? A great example of this is the movie The Usual Suspects, and that is exactly what they are doing in reality, all right? They have to tell you their plan. They have to tell you the way that they operate. That is part of their rules, all right? That is why they are out there talking about Build Back Better. That is why they are out there straight up addressing Agenda 2030. Justin Trudeau is not even trying to hide it. Bill Gates is already talking about countries in the EU organizing a way to have some sort of certificate that says you've been vaccinated in order to travel. So even if, right, by some miracle, we're allowed to exist inside the United States without a vaccine, you're not going to be allowed to travel outside of this country unless you have it. All right? And it's already that way with a bunch of vaccines as it is. Okay? You're not free. Get it through your head. The very word family, the etymology of that word, is a group of slaves who is related. We condition ourselves to be slaves every time we use these words. All right? Because it's all magic. It's all spellcraft. Why do you think when you're spelling out a word, they use the word spelling? Why do you think when you write on a piece of paper, they refer to it as writing? Okay? Because a rite is a ritual that manifests something. And your spelling on a piece of paper is using that spell and making a ritual out of it, and therefore putting energy into the system around you, in turn manifesting that energy in your direct influential sphere, right? And this is why when you read a book, it can touch you so emotionally and you not even know why. It can trigger epiphanies without you knowing why. That is magic craft, all of it. Anybody that tells you magic isn't real doesn't understand the reality around them. Magic is simply a technology that you don't understand. And they are using all of it to their fullest against us every single day, including the very computer screen that you're watching this video on. including the hertz that this video is being recorded at, including the frequency that my voice is coming out of your speakers. All of it has been designed to attack the natural frequency and resonance of your body. All right? And the only way to fight this in the here and now is for us as human beings to realize wasting energy and stressing about the future and wasting energy and stressing about the past instead of fighting in the here and now is what's going to doom us. And as I've already said, the ship's already sailed. You're not going to be allowed to do anything without this vaccine. Absolutely nothing. As I've suggested, store up on food, etc., etc., etc. We're in for a shitstorm, all right? Another thing I want you guys to understand, right, is America has made it through worse. We have, okay? But the people that made up our country back then were nowhere near as weak as we are now. Nowhere near. I know, and I hate to say it, the majority of subscribers to this channel will take that vaccine. You'll be around for the fight in 2030, all right? There'll be nothing to fight for by then, though, because you'll already be a slave. You'll already be one step into transhumanism, and that's exactly what this vaccine is designed to do. It's designed to re-engineer your DNA by inserting RNA into your body and literally reprogramming you from the very base code. It's the same as the kernel of an operating system, and that is exactly what they are doing day in and day out. Take that vaccine if you want. You'll pay for it at the end of the day. Believe me. I know that it may seem crazy, but there's going to be a choice, and you're going to have to make it very, very soon. The counting head phase is already done. They know which side you're on. The question is, do you? God bless, and have a great day. I will catch you guys soon.